Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you for using my creator code whenever you purchase any Sims 4 DLC on the EA app or thesims.com. I receive a 5% commission each time you use my code, which means you're directly supporting me as a creator. I know there are a lot of codes floating around out there, so I am very grateful that you've chosen me to support in this way. Thank you so much. Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And we are actually back building another home for the Not So Berry challenge, which I'm really stoked about because this is for the yellow generation, which I believe, yes, the third one. Yeah, I had to double check myself there for a second. It is the third generation in the Not So Berry challenge. The color is, of course, yellow. And I'll tell you a little bit about this gen as well. So growing up, you never had a close relationship with your parents and spent the majority of your time alone in your room obsessing over space. You just really love space. You'll do whatever it takes to get to 6am, no matter the cost. So this sim has the traits of clumsy, ambitious, and loner. They have the nerd brain aspiration, and they are going to be in the astronaut career. Now, one of the things that they also have to do as part of this generation is they actually have to go to the secret lot in Oasis Springs, which requires the max handiness skill. So they have to focus on the rocket science skill and the handiness skill. And then they have to build a rocket. They have to actually go to 6am. And that is pretty much why I wanted to build in Oasis Springs. I, of course, asked you all over on the post tab on YouTube where you think the yellow generation should live. And I think an overwhelming majority had said Oasis Springs. And I wholeheartedly agreed. And I was very excited to build here. And as you can see, we're building a container home. I just thought it fit. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm building these so close to one another, but like the mid-gen one was kind of like industrial and had that kind of vibe to it, but it was a lot more, I think it actually had a little bit more sophistication to it, I want to say. It was less like DIY on the interior. I don't know if that tracks. And then I did the Rose Gen penthouse, which had a very industrial feel, but it was a penthouse in the city of Ciudad Enamorada, so it was a little bit different. And this one, it has an industrial feel because it's a container home, and there's a lot of like metal and stuff like that, but it feels different enough. I hope you all agree, because I really liked this one. I especially can't lie, like I loved the exterior of this build so much. Container homes are so much fun. I don't build them often enough, and building like stacked container homes is just, I don't know, I just have such a blast because it's fairly easy, at least in my opinion. Like, it's very easy. You're literally putting rectangles on top of rectangles. I also feel like I haven't built in Oasis Springs in a long time, so it was really fun to build on this lot. Someone on the post tab also specifically mentioned this lot, which is the Nookstone lot. I think it's a 20 by 15. Yeah, I think it is, because it has the giant dinosaur in the background, and that's iconic, so of course we're building on this lot. It was just so perfect. I loved the landscaping, everything tied together so nicely, and I tried to get the rocket ship up on the second balcony there, and it did not fit. Essentially, it fit, like I could place the object, but my sim could not build the rocket there, which was really disappointing. So I put it in the backyard, and honestly, I think it actually works best there, and I had just enough room to place it in the backyard there, and I even had to do some shuffling off camera to make it work. I also did build the rocket, FYI. Your sim, technically as part of the challenge, has to build a rocket and travel to 6am, but for the purposes of screenshots and showing off this build and having it represent that gen, I did have a sim go in and build a rocket ship, so just be aware of that. But now we're working on the interior, and I decided, you know what? No wood flooring. We're going with brushed metal in the entire house. And I wanted this to be very like DIY. Like this sim, I feel like, because they're a loner, and I feel like they're just very independent, right? It's one of their traits is loner. They're very ambitious, but they're maybe very independent. Even though they're a little bit clumsy, they're supposed to have high handiness skills. So I thought that they pretty much put this house together. Like, they ordered the containers, they went ahead and constructed them themselves, and then what they did is maybe I don't know if they necessarily like built all their own furniture, but they absolutely just put everything together themselves. So everything's like really mismatched, and I don't know, it just has such a I don't want to say it has like a mad scientist vibe. I don't know if that's entirely true. And I feel like that applies more to the mint gen. I don't know. There's a little bit of overlap in my brain. Not necessarily like in the challenge, but in my brain there's overlap with those two gens. So I was trying to differentiate the two of them. But yeah, I loved it. Like all the chairs are different styles and colors. And I did use pops of yellow throughout this build to really emphasize that this is for the yellow gen, but I did not color drench this at all. I did not color block it. It's not all yellow, but it's just enough. And you know what? It was kind of nice because in Oasis Springs, yellow is very just like a sunshiny color, and I think it fits perfectly in Oasis Springs. So I was really excited to do that, and I used the country kitchen kit, fridge, and stove to really bring yellow into the kitchen, which I don't use the swatch of those items that much. I use the white swatch probably a lot. I've used some of the other pastels, but the yellow, it's just bright enough that I don't use it a lot. So it was really exciting to use that here. And I also use this overhead light from Horse Ranch because it's kind of like this metal, like this rusted metal lamp, I guess, or ceiling lamp, right? Yeah, ceiling light. I'm losing my words today, and I'm so like, can I just share something? As many of you probably know, I am pregnant, and shortness of breath is like a real thing. Can we just talk about that for a second? I feel like I'm trying to catch my breath throughout a voiceover 20, 30 times. I've already had to pause this voiceover like 3 times to catch my breath and pick up where I left off. So if I sound like I just ran a marathon, it's because I kind of did just from my seat. It's really, really wild. But yeah, I'm just cluttering up the kitchen now. I added a couple of plants there on that little countertop. I added the sink here from Laundry Day because again, it's kind of a DIY sink, and I left one countertop open for your Sims to use to be able to prepare food. Now, something else to be mindful of when I did this build, and I did the same thing in the Rose Gen build, I did not create a second bedroom for this house for the next heir, for whenever they have children. Now, for the Yellow Gen, so you never have any close friends or relationships other than your grandparent from generation 1 until the grandparent dies. So that means that you don't have any relationships until that grandparent dies anyway. And then for Gen 4, it's gray. And it doesn't necessarily indicate that you had to have any amount of like siblings as the gray heir. So that means that the yellow gen could have like one child, doesn't really matter. But I was thinking that you would have to maybe add another container onto this build. I don't know. So I did not add a second bedroom for a child sim in the future, and I probably won't do that in a majority of these builds, just like an FYI. I did it in the first one with Mint Gen because I had the space, and I thought, why not? I thought it would be perfect, and it was kind of me hinting at the fact that I'm going to be doing more of these builds as well. But for the Rose Gen, I didn't do it. Now for this one, I didn't do it. And for Gray, which I actually just finished the build for the Gray generation, and I'm really excited about that one too. It's so different from anything I've built before, and I hope you like it. I'm really stoked. But I did not, again, do a second bedroom. I think I have a home gym, which could be turned into a second bedroom if and when you need it. That's what I'll say. But as you can see, we finished up the kitchen, and then we have like this kind of bigger hallway area. I put this little fireplace from Eco Lifestyle, and I ended up putting like an armchair, I think, over there, just like a little place to sit by this little fire and like read books and stuff. And then I add, what else do I add in this hallway? I think there's a bookcase. No, maybe the bookcase is from the living room. I just built this like 2 days ago. You think I would remember? Yeah, no, I do a bookcase. I do. I was considering using this one from Get to Work because I figured that this sim, kind of similar to Mint Gen, which now I see that they have that relationship with Generation 1, the grandparent. Like, they're really close with the Mint Gen because they're both really into science. Anyway, but I almost used that because I was thinking that it was like scientific periodicals and scientific journals and stuff, again, because they were very into rocket science and going to space and all that fun stuff. But I used this more DIY one from Discover University because I thought it fit the vibe a little bit better. I also used that little lamp from the, what is it called? The Little Camper's Kit, because it's a rocket ship. Just little tiny nods here and there to the fact that this sim absolutely loves space. I also loved going into, I think they're in different categories. I want to say there's like miscellaneous decorations and wall decorations. They're not under paintings. Maybe some of them are, I can't remember. I had to search high and low, but there are actually certain prints, like wall decorations, that you will acquire when your sim continues to explore space in their rocket ship. So that was actually really nice. It's because I have Better Build Buy a tool that I have access to like all the unlock stuff. You can also use cheats to do it, but I just have it, I always have it on. So I have access to those items all the time. So I thought that was nice to add those things there too. Like maybe they've gone to space many a time already, and these are photos that they've taken themselves. So I tried to pull them out, tried to use them throughout the build. I didn't go overboard, but I thought they were a nice touch. And now we're working on the living room. The living room is, I'll say this, I think it's my least favorite room, but I still really like it. It was an odd shape and a weird layout. Originally, I was gonna make this maybe a big office space or something, or try to like cram the living space, the kitchen and dining all in one room, but I ended up not doing that, as you can see. And I am glad that I didn't do that, because it would have felt unnecessarily cramped, I think, and then this bedroom would have been bigger than the primary living spaces altogether. Just the proportions weren't really working in my brain, but I added this big flat screen TV, and as you can see, I'm holding onto that astronaut statue because I love that statue. It's a base game item, I believe, and it's actually huge. I shrunk it down a lot just using the shift bracket key, but I thought it was perfect because the sim wants to be an astronaut. But yes, we have some rocket ship blueprints there, this little model rocket as well. Just again, little nods to the fact that the sim, they're a space nerd, that's what they are. And then I just added a couple of other decorations, and I added this little planter from the Comfy Gamer kit. I used the exact same swatch of that plant in my mint build, but since the yellow gen, basically their only close relationship is with their grandparent, which is the mint generation, I thought it was perfect. Maybe if you have life and death, you can make that, you can make it an heirloom item. That would actually be super cute. I just thought about that. That would actually be super cute. Maybe if I ever play the Not So Berry challenge again, if I ever try it again, I'll do something like that. Even in my own gameplay, I haven't been using that component of life and death. You know why? I feel like because in my brain it came with growing together, and therefore I'm like dismissing it as not a new feature to explore. So whenever it pops up, I'm like, yeah, been there, done that. I don't know if that makes any sense. But also we're in the little greenhouse off the back of this build, and I add the woodworking table because it's perfect for the handiness skill. There's a little fan, some planter boxes, and then that faux little planter counter thing from the Greenhouse Haven kit, just because I figured it would be something that the sim would probably be interested in, considering they're kind of a loner, right? They're a little bit DIY. I feel like they'd kind of grow their own plants every now and then. Maybe they're trying to grow some strange fruit from Strangetown, because I built, because that's where I built the mint gen. Maybe their grandparent gave them like a strange fruit or a strange seed for them to grow. That could be kind of cool. Oh, this is fun. I'm thinking of like all the interconnectedness between those two gens, and it's actually super fun for me. Anyway, this is the one and only bedroom. I did use this beautiful bed from the Industrial Loft kit because it has this very nice yellow comforter on it. And also these curtains throughout the entire build from Eco Lifestyle, they just look sciencey to me. It kind of brought in another color. I thought it was fun. And these are the photos or the wall decorations, whatever you want to call them, that I had mentioned earlier. They're just very pretty. I think I used only one or two throughout this build, but again, they're all photos from exploring space, which I thought was nice. There's also a mirror in here. We've got the dresser. And then I just add a couple of decorations. I think I used a handful of things from Journey to Batuu, because again, let me just sound like a broken record, because space. That's why, because space. I feel like they were a huge Star Wars nerd as a kid, and that has just never left them. It is core to their personality, and I think that is just wonderful. And that pack, generally speaking, I think I've done the gameplay. And when I say done gameplay, I mean I brought my Sims there to build lightsabers and pretend that they went on like a Disney vacation. That's pretty much all I've done. I have not played with that pack at all. But the one thing it's good for is all of those little figurines, because I love making like kid or teen rooms where it's a reflected interest of theirs. I don't know. Now this is like the little hallway landing area, if you will, to the second floor. There's of course another bathroom up here as well. And I just add a desk because I assume that this sim probably does a lot of research on things and stuff, but I don't know. Science things. My brain is so fried, I can just tell. Also, I forgot to mention, I added a smaller telescope as well off one of the balconies, and then it's an unlock item from the scientist career. So again, maybe it was gifted down from the mint gen. Oh, I'm getting so many ideas. It's the satellite dish, so you can actually like prevent alien abductions. You can do a hive mind thing in the neighborhood. It's super fun. Now on this balcony, I added 2 lounge chairs because I wanted some spaces to relax, though I don't keep that grilled cheese swatch, unfortunately. And then I add some of these, they consider hydroponic planters, I think. And then there's also an outside dining table here, this little picnic bench and a grill. And I think that's pretty much it for this build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.